Recording in progress.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Craig with Our Revolution, West Virginia. Tell us your name and where you're from in the chat. Tonight, we'll be hearing from Our Revolution board member, Jim Hightower. We'll be hearing from Senator Nina Turner, who is entering the home stretch of her campaign, from New York State Senator Jabari Brisport, with an update on what could be the first statewide single-payer plan in the nation. And also Red Bank, New Jersey City Council candidate, Kate Triggiano. And I'll give you a report on West Virginia and what we're doing to hold Joe Manchin accountable for holding up progress. We were able to put together calls like this because of support from our members. So if you aren't already a member of Our Revolution, please consider joining. Your monthly gift helps fund organizers like me in West Virginia, organizers in Arizona, and other critical states. For as little as just $5 a month, we'll mail you a personalized 2021 Movement Builder membership card, and you can sign up at the link in the chat at rrev.us/2020member. Or if you're on the phone, just press *3 and an operator will take your information. So again, if you're on the phone and you would like to donate, please press *3 and an operator will take your info. So hello everyone who is now joining us. Again, I am Jenny Craig. I'm an organizer in West Virginia. If you haven't already, drop your name in the chat and tell us where you're from. So hello Barry from Toledo, Ohio. Thank you for joining us and being a sustaining member. From Maria Thompson in North Carolina. Hello, Maria. Hi, Susan from Detroit. I'm an OR national volunteer. It's great to have you. And hi, David from Northern California. Woody in Lexington, South Carolina. Rodney in Oakland, California. We are so blessed to have all of you on the call this evening. So again, welcome to our National Organize to Win call and happy Pride Month. My name is Jenny Craig with Our Revolution in West Virginia. Please drop your name in the chat and tell us where you are dialing in from. Hello, Benita from DC. It's great to have you. We have Tracy from Augusta, Georgia. And if you did not already hear, we'll be hearing this evening from board member Jim Hightower, Senator Nina Turner, who is entering the home stretch of her campaign. We'll also be hearing from New York State Senator Jabari Brisport with an update on what could be the first nationwide single-payer plan in the nation. And we'll also hear from Red Bank, New Jersey City Council candidate Kate Triggiano. I'll also be on later to give you a report on West Virginia and what we're doing to hold Joe Manchin accountable for holding up the progress. Hi, Michael from Duluth. Hi, Rita from Washington. Yes, Tracy, we all love Nina Turner, and we wish her luck in the home stretch of her campaign. Hi, Linda from Chicago. Thank you for joining us. And if you are not already a member, for as little as $5 a month, we'll mail you a personalized 2021 Movement Builder membership card. You can sign up in the link in the chat or at rrev.us/2021member. And if you're dialing in from the phone, you can still donate too. Please dial *3 and an operator will take your information. So again, if you're dialing in on the phone and you would like to help donate, to help organizers like me in West Virginia, to help fund organizers in other critical states such as Arizona, go ahead and dial *3 if you're on the phone and an operator will take your information, or you can click the link in the chat or go to rrev.us/2021member. Hi, Jesse from Southern Maryland. It's great to have so many folks on the call already this evening. Hi, Alan from Southern California, and Jim from Jersey. It's great to have you on. Again, I'm Jenny Craig. I'm in West Virginia, and your support, if you're not already a member, please join, because your support as a member for just as little as $5 a month, the links in the chat, can help fund organizers like me in West Virginia so that we can help hold Joe Manchin accountable, and also organizers in other key states such as Arizona. Hi, Pinky in Pennsylvania, and Arlene in New York City. Glad to have you on this evening. And Kathy from California. Monica from Cincinnati, welcome. Welcome to our Monday night organizing call. Happy Pride Month. I'm going to turn it over now to our co-host, Joseph and Anna Marta.
Thank you, Jenny Craig from West Virginia. Good evening, brothers and sisters. My name is Joseph Kivargis. I am the executive director of Our Revolution. I'll be your co-host tonight with Anna Marta Visky. We gather together as a community every Monday night. Over 5,000 people join us every week on Zoom and on the phones to share, to talk, to discuss how we advance our political revolution. Again, welcome to you all.
All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight we have so much to talk about, from Texas to New York. We are going to cover a lot of ground with an amazing lineup of guests. We have Jim Hightower here. We are going to have Nina Turner join us. New York State Senator Jabari Brisport is going to be here to give us an update on the New York Health Act. Red Bank, New Jersey Council candidate Kate Triggiano is here to talk about her exciting re-election campaign. If you have a question, put it in the Zoom Q&A box as usual, or in the comments section on Facebook if you are watching us live. If you are joining us by the phone, press *3 and someone will take your question. We are looking forward to interacting with you throughout the call. But before we get started, let's do an Our Revolution roundup, Joseph.
So, Our Revolution was founded by Bernie Sanders, and today we're America's leading grassroots-funded progressive political action organization. And our mission is simple. We're organizing. We're organizing a national network of grassroots groups to hold politicians accountable to progressives, to elect progressive champions, to fight for progressive policies, and to transform the Democratic Party into a truly progressive party. That is our theory of change. That is our mission.
That's right, Joseph. And in order to grow our movement, in order to win, we need to lead with vision, and we need to lean into that mission. That's what's critical right now. So this summer is heating up for us. This is our last best shot to win on our progressive priorities in Washington, D.C. That's why we are going to organize with our Inside strategy. We are mobilizing national networks of grassroots groups to make sure that President Biden and the Democrats don't backtrack on their campaign promises.
Don't backtrack. This week, CNN ran an entire segment on Our Revolution's warning to establishment Democrats. Don't backtrack. Look, on the campaign trail, Joe Biden and Democrats made a lot of progressive promises. At times, they all sounded like Bernie Sanders. And we are uniting in this moment to send the establishment a message. Failure to deliver on progress, failure to deliver on progressive promises is going to mean Democrats lose in 2022. And it's going to open the door to a right-wing takeover of our government once again.
That's right, Joseph. We need to avoid that. So what do we want? What does this progressive community of change makers want? We surveyed our members a couple of weeks ago to identify our top 5 issue demands, and this is what our members came up with. Number 1 is voting rights. Understandable. Nothing gets done, of course, if we can't vote. Number 2 is healthcare, because nothing matters if we don't have the right to our health and our healthcare. Number 3 is climate, because everything, of course, is irrelevant if we don't have a livable planet. So this summer, we are going to be working with progressive champions in Congress on an inside strategy, as I mentioned before, and we are going to ramp up our pressure on Democrats on the outside. Like Joe mentioned, in their home state, we are going to pressure him there to end the filibuster. So tonight, we are going to hear from two organizers about the work that they're doing on the ground in West Virginia and Arizona.
That's right, Anna Marta, but we're not just turning up the heat this summer in Washington. We're also turning up the heat all around the country by doing the work to elect progressive champions in critical down ballot contests. Our latest series of victories were in Texas, where our revolution members hit the doors and we hit the phones and we helped get 7 progressive champions over the finish line in their runoff elections that just happened this Saturday. Jim Hightower is going to be with us tonight to talk about our ongoing work to turn Texas blue.
That's right. That's exciting thing happening in Texas. And we are going to go from Texas to New York, where we are going to look ahead to June 22nd, a couple of weeks from now. It is the New York City primary, and our revolution has endorsed over 30 progressive champions for mayor, comptroller, council, and in other key local races. Tomorrow, we also have elections in Virginia and in my home state of New Jersey, where our members have been getting the vote out for our slates. Tonight, we have Kate Triggiano here, as I said, with an exciting update about her re-election campaign to Red Bank Council. And of course, our Revolution Ohio has been on the job since January to get Senator Nina Turner elected to Congress. We need her there, and we'll get an update from her. Nina Turner is here tonight to get an update herself.
I cannot wait to hear truth from Sister Nina Turner. So not only are we going to be talking about the work we're doing to elect progressive champions tonight, we're also going to be talking about the work that we're doing to advance progressive policies, not just in Washington, D.C., but in state capitals all around the country. Today, our revolution members held a die-in, a protest in Albany to put pressure on state legislatures to pass the New York Health Act. That's a statewide single-payer bill that could be a model for a federal Medicare for all bill. We're going to get an update tonight on that bill and where it stands from New York State Senator Jabari Brisport, one of our progressive champions that our revolution helped get elected.
And finally, Joseph, our party transformation work, which is unique to our revolution. We are organizing to transform the Democratic parties from coast to coast. We just passed a resolution in Arizona calling on its senators to stop holding up progress on the president's agenda. And we are pushing the party machine to redesign the ballot here in New Jersey. So if you are unelected or appointed Democratic Party seat or compare seat or anything else within the party, let us know, because we are building a national network of transformational members who are going to carry out important work within the local Democratic Party structures. The link is going to be in the chat for you, so please fill out if you are an appointed or elected local Democratic official.
So before we get to our speakers, before we hear from Jim Hightower, before we hear from the one and only Nina Turner, I want to ask all of you on the call to do one thing. If you are not yet a movement builder, I want you to sign up. The link is in the chat. If you are on the phones, you can hit *3. Why is membership important? The other side, the billionaires, have plenty of money and they organize their money to stop progress. Our side has people power. And the critical thing about people power is that we've got to pool our small donations into something that is big and powerful. And your membership helps fund the progressive revolution. We're going to hear later in the call about the work that our organizers in Arizona and West Virginia are doing. We're not just sending out e-blasts to folks. We're not just posting things on social media. We're actually on the ground. We're on the ground in critical states doing organizing, and your sustained contribution, whether it's $1 a month, $2 a month, $5 a month, makes a difference. It will help us hold Joe Manchin accountable. It will help us usher in an era of prosperity. So again, become a movement builder. Press *3 if you're on the phones, or click the link in the chat. So now I want to bring up our first guest, and our first guest is the one and only Jim Hightower. Marissa, you want to let me know if he's on yet? Not sure if Jim has joined us. So we're going to hear a little bit from Jim Hightower, who I think everyone on this call knows is a progressive legend. He is a syndicated columnist. He is a former agriculture commissioner in the state of Texas, and he is the founder of Our Revolution Texas. Jim's going to tell us a little bit about down ballot victories that we just won in Texas, and we're going to talk a little bit about what the right wingers are doing to block voting rights. But as we wait for Jim to join, is he on yet, Marissa?
He is joining momentarily.
All right. So one of the things I want to tell you about is some of the big election wins that we had in Texas. So we got 7 candidates over the finish line this Saturday. We helped elect more progressives to the city council seats in San Antonio, in Fort Worth, and in other critical cities. We are organizing in this critical state. And why does that matter? Organizing in Texas doesn't just matter for the presidential election. Organizing to elect progressive champions matters because we had a crew of elected officials, progressive members of the state legislature, who led the walkout against a Republican plan to rig elections in Texas. It wasn't establishment Democrats. It was progressive Democrats who were willing to stand up and put it all on the line. And those were candidates who were elected by Our Revolution. So do we have Jim on yet?
He is not on yet.
All right. So while we figure out the technology in Texas, let's, the next thing we want to do is I want to just go to our next guest, who is the one and only Nina Turner. She needs no introduction. And the main thing that I want to say about the work that we're doing at Our Revolution to elect Nina is really inspired by Nina Turner herself. She was one of the founding members of Our Revolution and inspired all of us to put our spirit into action, to make sure that our values are lived out in the real world. And that's what our members are doing in Ohio right now. Over 400 volunteers have made over 120,000 phone dials on behalf of Senator Turner to get her elected. Not only that, we're on the doors canvassing as part of our Neighbors for Nina program. And our members in Ohio just last week wrote 2,500 personal notes to voters in the district to tell them why electing Nina is so important. The reason people volunteer for Nina is, one, is they believe in what she represents, and two, they're in love with the spirit and the passion that she brings to our movement. So with that, I want to welcome Senator Nina Turner.
Hi, Brother Joseph. It's such a pleasure to be back home again.
It is awesome to have you back home, sister.
I'm so
We can't
proud
wait
of
to
the
get in the house.
And thank you. And I'm so proud of the work you guys are doing, just listening to how you are just laying it down through words and deed. It just makes me so very, very proud.
So, sister, tell us a little bit about the state of the race and then a little bit about what your take is on the state of the nation. A lot of things are breaking in Capitol Hill, and man, I wish your voice was up there, and it soon will be.
It will. And I love that our revolution is holding this administration accountable, because that is what this is about. When you have power, you got to use it. It's finite, as you and I both know, Brother Joseph, and so many others. And you got to go bold. I mean, that is why Democrats were given the power in the first place. That is why we won Georgia. That is why we retained the House of Representatives. And that is why Democrats won the presidency, because the people are saying, use that power to change our material conditions. So shout out to OR, because it is very easy to go along, to get along. It's another type of mission to stand up to your friends and to your allies, to say what you've done thus far on this side is okay. You need to do a little more on this side, and we're going to hold you accountable to what you promised to do on the campaign trail. So shout out to the spirit of our revolution. The state of the race is tremendously good. And our Revolution National, but particularly our Revolution Ohio, is doing the daggone thing. Did you say 2,500 handwritten notes? Hello, somebody. Oh my God, on top of all of the calls that you are making throughout the 11th Congressional District, could not do this thing without grassroots and without organizations like our Revolution. We have came out today, hot off the presses, $3 million raised. Woo! It is rare that the progressive candidate is the candidate that is the front runner. But that is happening in Ohio, and it's happening in Ohio 11th because of the great work, because I was in the vineyard, because of our revolution and other sister and brother organizations that are working in the progressive space, families and friends working in this space to make it so. $3 million raised. 85% of the money that comes from Ohio is coming from the 11th Congressional District itself. We have raised in every zip code in the 11th Congressional District. So don't let them other folks tell you that the district ain't loving on Senator Turner and the leadership that I want to bring to this congressional seat. We have raised money in every single state in the United States of America, plus the District of Columbia. What should that say to us and our movement? That people believe. And they believe that there is a synergy and an energy and a nexus and a connection to this win in Ohio 11th and how it will impact all of our lives. And that is a tremendously big deal. I think we're at like 45 or 47,000 donors into this campaign. Polling came out last week. We are at the top in the polling in this district as well. 50% of potential voters in this special election say that they will vote for Sister Turner. When we break it down, race and ethnicity, 52% of Black people support my candidacy and say that they will vote for me in this special election, and 48% of white folks are saying that. That is dead even. And so again, that means that the type of bold leadership, the agenda, our agenda, not my agenda, our collective agenda is actually winning. Now, we already know that it's winning in the United States of America because our agenda, progressive policies, are not just popular, they're necessary. But it also means that in a district like mine, people understand that for a time such as this, you need bold leadership that is working to change the material conditions of people in this district, in the state, and in this nation. So, Brother Joseph, I don't know what to say. I am humbled every time I look at those numbers and I think about the numbers of people and the average donation. Anybody want to guess the average dollar amount? Brother Joseph?
I want to say $27, but
you are so good. $27. Wow. That magic $27. And you know what? That is a tank of gas. Well, maybe not now because gas is well over $3 a gallon, depending on where you are. But my point is this, that $27 could be used by the vast majority of people who are donating to this campaign to something else that they need. not what they want, what they need. And the fact that they're making sacrifices into this campaign means so much to me. We have attracted volunteers from all over the district, all over the state, and all over the nation. We have volunteers that are in Ohio right now from as far away as California right now. We got Minnesota represented, Illinois represented. I mean, a whole host of states. I hate that I started naming because I know I'm leaving out some people's states, with promises of people to come in to work arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder with the constituents of this district, who will have the absolute final say. Election day is the best poll number ever, and the residents of the 11th district, the voters, will have the absolute final say. But what you are allowing our campaign to be able to do is to get our message out. And I'm so proud of that.
And so, Sister Turner, tell us a little bit about your take on what's happening on Capitol Hill. We've got some Democrats are saying, well, we should, we don't need the For the People Act. We should let the filibuster stay in place. There are Democrats who seem to be Democrats in name only. What do we got to do in this moment?
Doing what you guys are doing right now, which is holding the people like Senator Joe Manchin. Let's go on and name the names. And Our Revolution, you're bold like that. It makes no sense. I mean, this man is quoted as saying that he's going to stand against it. And he's not ashamed to say that he's going to stand against it, that it's divisive. You know, what I find divisive is elected officials who have the people's power, not willing to use that power to edify, to uplift, to change things on the people's behalf. What could be divisive about expanding and protecting the right to vote? There's nothing divisive about that. And people like Senator Sinema. So I am disappointed to what I see going on in the Senate, and we must get rid of the filibuster. It must go. But even before we get rid of the filibuster, we got to do something about these Democrats, as you named, Joseph, in name only. It makes no sense before we start pointing the fingers at the Republicans. And we need to point fingers, especially in state legislatures all over this country, where there are 360 some odd pieces of legislation pending that do nothing to expand the electorate. It does everything to suppress the vote. And I'm so glad that you all are focusing on state houses. I know that Brother Jabari's in the house and going to talk about New York, the state of New York, and what they're going to do to get Medicare for all started in that great state. State legislatures matter. And we need more organizations to focus on state legislatures. But you asked me about the state. It is, Democrats absolutely have no excuses. They asked the people for the levers of power. They were given those levers of power, and now we must be bold. And we've got to call out our own when they're not doing the right thing. So really shame on Senator Manchin. I'm glad that Our Revolution in West Virginia is going to hold it down and hold him accountable.
And Sister Turner, right now, I want to bring up the one and only Jim Hightower, someone that you worked very closely in building Our Revolution. And Jim wanted to do the introduction to this segment. And so we're going to bring him up to do the introduction and chat a little bit about the politics of what's happening in state legislatures all around the country. Jim?
I love Jim Hightower, for the record.
I think Jim's on mute.
Jim, unmute yourself. Here you go.
All right. So I could not do the introduction to Nina because of technicality BS that I do not even possibly understand. But beside that, I can do the deduction, which is that Nina Turner is, my longtime cohort and a co-conspirator in all things progressive. We've been up and down the road all across the country, including here in Texas. And we didn't just go to Dallas and Houston. We went to Tyler. We went to the small towns. We went to Oklahoma City. We've been all across this country together because that's where the progressive movement actually is, at the grassroots level. And Nina is the one who is putting progress in progressive. Her work, as she indicated there in Ohio, the great people who are coming through there, our our revolution members there who are knocking on the doors, delivering the text messages, doing the phone calling there, the postcard mailing, 120,000 calls, and et cetera. We're just 8 weeks away from putting Nina Turner in the Congress of the United States. She will drive the political establishment, including the Democratic establishment, absolutely crazy. Of course, that's a pretty short ride for a lot of them. So we need her to be in there. And with her great work and the work of our revolution, Joseph and Mike and all the great folks on this staff and our local folks, Clayton Tucker and Christy Lara here in our state, who are doing so much tremendous work. We have just won 17 elections, our revolution people getting elected here in the state of Texas. This is 3-4 times more than we have won in past off-year elections. These are mayors, they're school board people, they're city council people. We've got 30% of our candidates have won their races. For example, we've got Jeline McKee Rodriguez, first openly gay man elected to serve on the San Antonio City Council, and the first openly gay Black man elected to office in the state of Texas. John Courage, whom was an original OR member back in 2017, and he was elected to the city council, and now he has been reelected in a conservative district, a district considered to be conservative. And that's important for us to remember. There's no district that is conservative. There are districts that have conservatives, but they have progressives as well, and they have people of goodwill. And these folks are what we're appealing to win elections. We just had a blue majority elected to the Fort Worth City Council. We have in Grand Prairie, Texas, which is kind of between Dallas and Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, Texas, a young fellow named Junior Esono, our youngest candidate, 22 years of age, and our revolution member, defeated a 12-year incumbent who was doing all kinds of dog whistles about racism and et cetera. And Junior took him on and smashed him. He just graduated from college, by the way. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks, he graduated from college, but he is a member of our Revolution Texas, and now he is a member of the Grand Prairie City Council. These are people who are going to make a big difference in our society. And that's the importance of what Nina Turner was just talking to us about, that we cannot backtrack on our values. We cannot backtrack on our commitment to progressive issues. There's no saying that even a dog knows the difference between being stumbled over and being kicked. And we got too many weak-kneed Democrats who want to just back off, and just kick the people who elected Joe Biden, who elected a majority Congress of Democrats. We can be the kiss-ass party of Joe Manchin, or we can be the kick-ass party of Bernie Sanders and Nina Turner and local grassroots rebels like you who are out there. You don't have to be in who's who to know what's what. And what's what is that the people are looking for real progressive change in America. We are that change. Let's push it forward.
The one and only and legendary Jim Hightower, Sister Nina Turner, thank you so much for joining us. Jim Hightower, thank you for your words of wisdom. And I want to note this for all of you who are on this call. Many of you have been on our justice journey since the very beginning, whether it was 2015, 2016. And our revolution has been in existence now for 5 years, and we're in the presence of two of the founders, of that movement, Jim Hightower and Nina Turner, who were there from the beginning. And I can't imagine what the next 5 years is going to bring for our country once we elect Nina Turner to Congress and continue to elect progressives, right, to city councils, to state legislatures, and to kick ass up and down the country for the working class. So again, Nina Turner and Jim Hightower, thank you. And thank you for giving us a vision of what can be over the next 4 or 5 years. Thank you both. And again, for all of you who are there, please become a sustaining member of our revolution. Support the movement building that we are doing. We've been in this for 5 years, and we're going to be in it for another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, until we transform this country. America was once a country where you could have a president like FDR. You could have a Congress that would come together and pass transformational labor law legislation. You had a country that would come together and take action on all of the important priorities. We can get there, but only if we organize and only if we pool our power. So brothers and sisters, become a member today. Help us elect Nina Turner. Help us support the wonderful organizing that Jim's leading in Texas and that our members are doing all around the country. So with that, Anna Marta, back to you, sister.
Right, it's always so inspiring to hear Nina Turner and Jim Hightower. So let's pivot now to healthcare for all. Our revolution is proud to be a supporter of the New York Health Act. We endorsed the Health Act a couple of months ago, and through our local network in New York, NIPAN, we have been working on passing this act since. NIPAN is a coalition of local groups, and they have been really busy with trying to build a movement and passing this Health Act. It would make New York the first state in the nation with a single-payer, universal, guaranteed healthcare for all, everybody in, nobody out, one step closer to national Medicare for all, which is what we want. The support for the bill has never been greater. Democrats have a majority in the Assembly and the Senate. The votes are there. So we are wondering what's the holdup. There are just 3 more days left before the legislative session ends on June 10th. We joined a big mobilization rally today in the capital city of Albany. It was a powerful event, a die-in, because people are desperate. People are dying due to the lack of healthcare. As I said, I was there. It was really impressive what the group Campaign for New York Health put together. We are proud to support them in this effort. And here to tell us more is State Senator Jabari Brisport. He is one of the most vocal advocates of the New York Health Act, and he's also first-time state senator. So welcome to the call, Senator Brisport. Tell us a little bit about your first term. What are you most proud of in terms of achievements, and what do you think about the prospects of the New York Health Act?
Thank you, Anna, and hello, everybody tuning in. So again, my name is State Senator Jabari Brisport. Pronouns are he and him. I represent a district in Brooklyn, the 25th State Senate District. I am a first-term state senator, and I would say the thing that I'm most proud about in my time here is our budget. And I know budgets are not a sexy thing to talk about, but due to incredible, unprecedented levels of advocacy for progressive taxation and greater sources of revenue by taxing the rich over the first few months, we actually passed the most progressive budget in New York's history, or definitely in my lifetime. I don't know of one that's been more progressive. And that's the kind of energy that myself and a whole squad of others, socialists who were elected to office, are bringing alongside a bunch of progressives and left-leaning, powerful activists that have been elected to New York State legislature in recent years. So talking about the New York Health Act specifically, and I see somebody writing budgets are sexy in the chat. Thank you. I like the reaffirmation there. Budgets are sexy. Yes, let's make budgets sexy again. So the New York Health Act, you heard Anna saying some stuff, about it earlier. She described it very well. Just to reiterate, it is a single-payer healthcare program that would abolish private insurance, replace it with a single-payer government-run program free of corporate influence, free of private motivation, private profit motivations, no copays, no deductibles, no in-out work, out-of-network, is this my network, all that nonsense. Everybody in New York, nobody out, regardless of even your documentation status. Everybody in New York in, nobody out. It has been introduced again and again and again and again since 1992. So nearly 3 decades. But this is the first year ever in the nearly 3 decades it's been introduced that it has a majority of co-sponsors in both the New York State Assembly and the State Senate. So we have never been closer to passing it than we are passing it right now, but leadership is not bringing it to a vote. Even though if everyone that's co-sponsoring it voted, if it came to a vote and everyone that's co-sponsoring it voted yes, we would enact single-payer healthcare throughout all of New York. So it's very frustrating. We have 3 days left in the state legislature. The New York State legislature stops convening after this Thursday, June 10th. So we have until Thursday to push it, all the momentum. There are some obstacles, one of them being just the general inertia in Albany right now, the lack of desire to do anything big and transformational. A lot of just, whatever bills we're renaming bridges and stuff are going through, but anything massive and transformational, no one seems to have the appetite for that. There's also what is coming up there have been some sneaky legislators who signed on as co-sponsors to cover their butts politically, but behind the scenes, they're going to leadership and saying, please don't move this to a vote. I don't actually want to vote yes on this. Yes, I'm a co-sponsor, but I don't actually want to vote yes on it. And that's slimy, and I hate that. And then there's also been there's a handful of powerful public sector unions have been speaking out against it. And, we love unions, but this is a specific scenario where they like what they have and don't want to shift to anything else, even though it would be better for their members. I mean, again, no co-pays, no deductibles, no worry about your in-network, out-of-network, and also would ensure the additional 1 million people in New York who are uninsured. So that confluence of things is making inertia and making it hard to move it through, but we have built such grassroots energy, and there are legislators that are still pushing for it in the state Senate. It is still possible to do it in the last 3 days. And I'm so giddy about it because I want to follow the path towards single-payer healthcare that Canada followed. Because in 1962 in Canada, in Saskatchewan, they passed a universal healthcare system. And within the next 10 years, all of Canada had adopted that model. So I want New York to be the Saskatchewan of America. Take that as you wish. But I do believe we can be the first to pass it, show that it works, and expand it nationwide.
Senator, what can organizers and volunteers on the call do in the remaining couple of days to push this forward? How can we mobilize better?
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone in New York should be calling your state legislator, calling them up, remind them to please advocate for this in the last few days. If you're outside, Google the Campaign for New York Health, and they're doing tons of actions, whether it's phone calls, demonstrations, everything under the sun to help move this to a vote. Again, it is anti-democratic for there to be a bill such that it has a majority of co-sponsors in the Assembly and the Senate and still does not come to a vote. If something has that much support, it should come to a vote so we can actually vote on it. So all the pressure necessary, Google Campaign for New York Health and help us out. And I promise you, if we can pass it here, we can pass it anywhere. That's Frank Sinatra.
That's right, Senator. And yeah, especially after COVID-19, I mean, tens of thousands of New Yorkers died, lost income, fell behind on rent, cannot pay their medical bills and put food on the table. And everyone's at risk, of course, but as we all know, Black and brown and low-income New Yorkers are especially overburdened. So this is our moral duty right now. We need to put public health before private profits, and we need to make sure that throughout this crisis, private health insurance companies don't continue to rack in record profits. So thank you so much for everything that you are doing to this bill, to advocate single payer, to raise awareness, create consciousness, build a movement with us. Thank you so much for joining our call, and we are looking forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Our Revolution. And let the revolution move on. Everyone on this call is amazing. You all rock.
All right, so let's move on to the neighboring state of New Jersey, and single payer and Medicare for all and healthcare is a good connector because we have a council member on the call, Kate Triggiano, who was instrumental in passing the state's first Medicare for all resolution in her hometown of Red Bank. We have endorsed Kate for re-election. Kate and Hazim are running as a ticket, and they're instrumental in passing so many progressive priorities. So welcome to the call, Kate. I saw you yesterday throughout your big canvas launch, the last big one. So let us know a little bit about your first term, what you are most proud of, and what's happening now with your re-election. You are running in somewhat of a contentious primary in Red Bank.
Yeah, so let me just introduce myself. I'm a councilwoman in the borough of Red Bank, New Jersey. My residents don't like when you call it city council, so it's borough, small town stuff. It's a 2 square mile town with an estimated population of between 12 and 13,000 people. When I first got involved, I would say was 2014 in my town. I became involved in the Environmental Commission, local boards. If there's anybody listening who's not ready to run for office, please find your animal welfare committees, your environmental commissions, your town level stuff. Check your municipal pages. If they don't have an environmental commission, start the environmental commission. That's the way you get grant programs, things of that nature. And then you'll have something to actually say you've accomplished for your municipality when you go to run for office. So that's how I began. And then I really didn't get into the political end of that besides the local stuff until Bernie ran in 2016. I organized my first march was for Bernie Sanders in Red Bank, New Jersey. There was no Our Revolution yet, and there was no Democrat stepping up. And I said, who's gonna do it? I might as well go for it. Organized a dozen marches and rallies with my friends and advisors, and then got to the point where I said, do I wanna beg the dais or do I wanna be on the dais? And I said, let's go. I won the first contested convention for nomination in over 25 years in Red Bank. And like I said, that was mainly due to not just because of progressive values, but because I was in it, right? You're on your local boards, you're on your commissions. It's important to establish yourself. So I'm now in office. Myself and Hazim are the 2 youngest people on our 6-person council. We're both in our early 30s. When I filed, I was 29. And we are up for re-election. And now we are facing the first primary in Red Bank. In what I've been told my entire lifetime. It's complicated, it's complex, but I can basically say our party chair does not support us. There's an old guard, new guard dynamic, but we are fortunate enough to have the support of our senator, Ben Gopal, our governor, Phil Murphy, our mayor, and the majority of our council. And in our first term, we spearheaded passing the first Medicare for all resolution in the state. We spearheaded an ordinance to get our town to 100% clean renewable energy by 2030. We started the first volunteer translator interpreter program with our police department in the state. Our first Pride event for our town. We delivered $20,000 worth of organic food to food insecure people during the pandemic. We expanded outdoor businesses to make sure that they had outdoor expansion so that they could survive the pandemic. And it's been a lot. It's been a journey. It's been, ups and downs, but we've been lucky enough to find allies and, of course, to have the support of Our Revolution in our local endeavors. Sheesh!
Yay, Kate! That was awesome. We are so proud of you. You have been an organizer first and foremost. That's why we supported you, because you know how to get things done in the community. You support your community. You build your community, and you are legislating in your little community with the support of that community for that reason. So proud to be fully behind your campaign and Hazim's campaign. What are you looking forward to achieve in your second term? Well, I'm sure that we are going to win this tomorrow.
I believe that we will win as well. I believe that, when you live in a town like this, it presents you every opportunity in the world to show people who you really are. Day in and day out. My kid is in the public school here. I'm in the fire academy becoming a firefighter. My family jokes that I never go over the bridge and leave my town. So when you're in it like that, I would hope, I would truly hope that people see that, I love this place more than anything. Future goals are to build upon, I think as the gentleman said earlier, it's not so sexy, some of the local stuff, right? Like I'm super obsessive with making sure our municipal facilities are taken care of. Does that sound so great? No, but what I notice with a lot of progressives when you go into office, And what's activating people on this level is having a strong moral compass and actually wanting, we're seen as the rebels, but sometimes when you get in, we're bringing appropriate chain of commands. We're bringing in appropriate process. We're bringing in things where, especially at a local municipal level, when you have a lot of people rotating through those doors that are kind of connected to each other for decades, when you get new people in there and they start looking at how a town is managed, it's kind of funny that we're seen as rebels, but then you come in and really what you want to bring is process and order. It's interesting. So yeah, I mean, on a local level, our municipal facilities, you pass ordinances, but then you need to see them through, right? So we passed an ordinance to get to clean renewable energy by 2030, but we need to go to bid for that energy. And we started a coalition of municipalities to do that with together to get, that purchase of that energy, down to a proper level with 8 other municipalities. Like that needs to be held together. Just when you pass something doesn't mean the work is over. The work is just beginning. And that goes with, the translator interpreter program that we started. We started it during a pandemic. Have we been able to really use that translator program as best we could? No. So every time you start something, it needs to be watered and fed. So really just making sure things get established and making sure that there's a maintenance program for the programs that you establish so that they're not just a really hot headline one day and then they're gone. They need to continue to be useful for your community.
All right, Kate, it was awesome to having you on the first National Our Revolution field call. I'm sure you'll be back for more soon and maybe in a different role down the line. So thank you again. Good luck tomorrow. We will be there rooting for you. We are sending texts and emails as we speak. So thanks again. See you soon. Let's now move to another membership ask. Continue supporting us so we can continue supporting people like Kate. The link is going to be in the chat. Press *3 if you are listening on the phones and we will take your information. Please sign up. Kate is a member. Kate is supporting our movement. Be like Kate and support us so we can build the communities and we can build local teams like Kate and her teams. All right, let's move on, Joseph, to the next segment. Let's introduce our next guest.
Yeah, we're going to thank you, Anna Marta, and it's so awesome to see local elected officials like Kate that we're championing, from Congress to City Council, Borough Council, we're there, and we're the edge of our revolution. Right now, I want to actually go to the most important part, I think, of this call, which is our field reports. What sets our organization apart than a lot of other progressive organizations is that we have organizers on the ground in critical places holding politicians' feet to the fire. And right now, we're going to get a report from West Virginia. We all know what happened on Sunday. Joe Manchin wrote basically a fuck you op-ed. He's against the For the People Act. He wants to keep the filibuster in place. Well, that's fine. He can write all he wants, but we're fighting back. And right now I want to bring up Jenny Craig, who is our organizer in West Virginia, to tell us a little bit about the organizing that she's doing. But first, Jenny, tell us about yourself. You're a lifelong West Virginian and a radical teacher activist.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. My name is Jenny Craig, and I'm an organizer here in West Virginia. I am a lifelong West Virginian. I'm a third generation teacher. I've taught special needs children for the past 13 years. Helped led both of our past 2 teacher strikes. And I'm helping to organize here in West Virginia through our revolution because I love my state. I love our great state of West Virginia, but I'm extremely disappointed in our elected officials whose regressive policies have left West Virginia family behind for decades. And we will no longer stand silently or idly by while Senators Manchin and Senator Moore Capito allow for the gutting of our voting rights and allow for control of a supermajority to block progressive legislation that we know is absolutely critical, especially in light of the pandemic, to West Virginian families and to American families alike. Legislation such as the PRO Act, which will be the most would be the most progressive and sweeping pro-union, protecting workers' rights to organize legislation that we've seen certainly in decades. West Virginia used to be the bastion of union organizing, and we want to bring that spirit back. We want progressive legislation such as the Thrive Act to pass. In fact, we held a rally outside of Senator Shelley Moore Capito's offices in partnership with West Virginia Working Families Party. We were at all 4 of Senator Shelley Moore Capito's offices last Wednesday on the 3rd. We were in Morgantown, West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia, and Martinsburg. And we were calling on both Senators Moore Capito and Manchin to support and to pass the Thrive Act, because we know that we need more investment in good paying jobs with access to unions, jobs in clean and renewable energy to bring our state forward. Just in the first year alone, it would create almost around 500,000 new good paying jobs with access to unions here in West Virginia. And we want to see that pass. And we're calling on them to do what's right by West Virginians. We're also helping to organize this coming Thursday in Morgantown, West Virginia, again, to talk about protecting workers' rights. We have a pharmaceutical plant, Viatris, who, a little bit of background on that, used to be called Mylan Pharmaceuticals. Senator Manchin's daughter was the CEO. She took an $18-ish million retirement package. The company went and was taken over by Viatris. And because of corporate greed, they decided that it was more important for their bottom line to offshore the jobs, the 1,500 good paying union jobs here in West Virginia, to India and to Australia, with very little action, very little anything from Senators Manchin and Moore Capito to save these jobs. And these jobs are jobs that pay far beyond the average salary for West Virginians. And this type of job scale, on this type of scale, is going to be absolutely detrimental to the central part of our state, and really our state as a whole, not just for the workers and their families. We're losing citizens at the fastest rate of any state in our country. And we can't afford to lose more West Virginians who just want nothing but to stay and to live and to work and to afford the American dream here in West Virginia. And so we're not going to allow Senator Manchin and Senator Moore Capito to get by with not upholding their bargain to working families here in West Virginia.
So that's awesome, Jenny. So again, you guys just did an action hitting one of your senators, Senator Capito. And then this week you're going to be calling on Joe Manchin, right, the most powerful person in the United States of America, to save a pharmaceutical plant in his state from being outsourced to India. Why isn't he talking about that?
We're hearing very little statewide. And we're also pressuring the Biden administration to make good on his promises to American workers, to protect American jobs, to protect union jobs, and to not allow federal monies to go to companies who outsource jobs. And so it's threefold. We need to hold people at every level accountable to these jobs. And like I said, the stories are heartbreaking. These are West Virginians who love their state, who've worked at the plant for decades, who have dedicated their lives to producing medication that betters our lives, and they want nothing more than a fair and livable wage and to be able to afford to stay and to work here.
And so what we're doing in West Virginia is we're saying to Joe Manchin this week, you got to pick a side. You're either on the side of big pharma and your daughter who's making millions and millions and millions of dollars, or you're on the side of the working men and women of West Virginia who do hard work in our union members. So Jenny, thanks for all the work you do. We look forward to getting a report next week from all the awesome organizing you're doing in West Virginia to hold Manchin's feet to the fire. Now we're going to go to Arizona, where we have another problematic set of senators who didn't show up for a town hall that Our Revolution and the Painters Union held on the PRO Act, critical union reform legislation. So I want to bring up our organizer on the ground, Kevin Loera, to tell us a little bit about what we're doing in Arizona. Kevin?
Yes, thank you, Joseph. And that's exactly right. We are mounting up pressure here in Arizona, as we always have. Of course, voters delivered the White House and the Senate and retained the House. But here in Arizona, we obviously have that bad history we're known for on many fronts. We have a Republican governor, a Republican majority in the state legislature, and we might as well, as you mentioned, have call them Republican senators. You know, Senator Sinema, more so than Senator Selly, have been absent. It's unacceptable, just as Senator Sinema was absent on the January 6th commission vote. She was also absent to our town hall, our ever so critically important PRO-ACT Workers Town Hall, which we partnered up with the AFL-CIO, Unite Here, PDA, DSA, and other pro-labor, pro-immigrant organizations. So no surprise there, but our mission is the same. We must hold them accountable. We're going to keep building up pressure. We were able at our revolution here in Arizona to give people who may feel powerless a voice, especially people who are working multiple jobs, who are being exploited, as we know, modern slave-like conditions. So again, this PRO-ACT Workers Town Hall, we're very proud of our speakers. We had a number of speakers from different working backgrounds, from painters, retail workers, delivery workers, multi-job workers, hotel workers, so-called gig 1099 workers. And they are all on the same page, demanding that our president and our elected senators, like Senator Sinema, who we knocked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doors for, to take action and to pass the PRO-ACT and also end the filibuster. So the message is clear from all the workers. Here in Arizona, as in many states, unfortunately, right to work is not sustainable. So this is all part of the same fight. And I quickly want to share a couple of quick little excerpts from a couple of workers who are the backbone of America and continue to be exploited. And unfortunately, all the profits are going to the top 1%, right? For example, Romelio, a unionized drywall worker, says that without the PRO-ACT, workers like him will continue to suffer, lose thousands of dollars in wages, face retaliation and intimidation from their bosses, and will continue to be exploited. Obviously, this is unacceptable, and the inactions of Senator Sinema for that reason alone is unacceptable. Another unionized painter, Adrian here from Arizona, tells us that we must act now to end modern-day slave-like working conditions. We need collective bargaining power. We need people power. We need the PRO-ACT. That is what our revolution is all about, bringing all of us together. So we are very proud to elevate those voices of workers who are being exploited and have no choice sometimes but to remain silent. We are going to continue to speak up. We're going to continue to elevate them, and we're going to force, as we mentioned a few times on this call, we're going to force our elected officials to make a choice. Are they going to stand with workers and the future of American working families, or are they going to side with the top 1% and lobbyists here in the United States? So again, voters are pissed. Workers here in Arizona are suffering. The Democratic Party is being reformed here in Arizona. So we got to continue to get involved. We have to come together. I want to encourage everyone to join or rejoin the movement. Donate, become a member, whatever you can. Most importantly, go to ourrevolution.com/events and find an event. We are mounting up pressure, and we are in for the fight of our lives.
So Kevin, Jenny, thank you both for the amazing organizing that you are doing on the ground in West Virginia, in Arizona, the key fronts on our fight for a progressive America. Look, change doesn't happen from an email. Change doesn't happen from a social media post. Change happens from people organizing on the ground. And that's what Jenny and Kevin and our members are doing. You can support their work by becoming a member of our revolution. $5 a month. That's all it takes to power progressive change all around the country. So speaking about progressive change, we're going to close out and let you know about some of the exciting activities that are happening all across the country this week in the revolution. Anna Marta?
That's right, Joseph. And Kevin, speaking of uplifting, elevating the voices of workers, if you are in DC or in the surrounding area, we are holding an all hands on in-person event Saturday, June 12th, this coming Saturday. In Virginia, in Arlington, we are pressuring Senator Mark Warner to support working families. Warner is one of just 3 Senate Democrats who hasn't signed on to the PRO Act, the most significant labor reform legislation in decades. So we are going into his neighborhood to make sure that he hears our voices. Sign up on the link in the chat and join us. Transportation is secured for people traveling from nearby areas. So let us know if you are able to come. We'll make it happen.
So I want to just underscore that again. If you are in the DMV, come out for our PRO Act action. There are a couple of senators like Kristen Sinema and Mark Warner who are not supporting the labor movement. That is unacceptable. We can't let them get away with it. The more people who come out on Saturday, the more powerful message we will send to Mark Warner. So again, link is in the chat. Sign up. Join us on the front lines. Not only are we doing that protest on Saturday, on Tuesday, we're doing a Zoom call with our revolution in Illinois with a whole bank of progressive legislators who are going to be commemorating Juneteenth and talking about how our movement is fighting for voting rights, criminal justice reform, and other progressive priorities in Springfield and in the land of Lincoln.
All right, and on Thursday, we have a busy week. Thursday, Our Revolution West Virginia is holding an emergency town hall in Morgantown to call on Joe Manchin and Joe Biden to save their jobs in the wake of a factory closing next month. Jenny mentioned this earlier in the call. The plant closing will likely kill nearly 1,500 good-paying union local jobs, offshoring many of them and affecting generations of West Virginians to come. So an important event to tune into or turn out to in Morgantown if you're local.
And then, right, we're going to continue talking about corporate greed. A week from tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Amazon with Alec McGillis. He is the award-winning author of Fulfillment, Winning and Losing in One-Click America. I know who's winning and I know who's losing in Amazon's world. You don't want to miss this call. Learn more about this giant octopus that is destroying our world, our country. Link is in the chat. And for everyone, we're going to close out. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Senator Nina Turner, Jim Hightower, Kate Triggiano, Jabari Brisport, and all of you, our members, for fighting the good fight. And before we sign off, we're going to close out like we always close out with the chant, a chant that is fundamentally true. When we organize,
we win.
When we organize,
we win.
When we organize,
we win.
We win.
Good night, everyone.